welcome to my YouTube channel once again. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. It's a girl, Winnie Kate. Yay! Yeah, thank you so much for checking on my video. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you are one of my very many subscribers, thank you so much for being part of my life, and thank you so much for checking out my content. So, today's episode, first and foremost, I'm going to try as much as possible to make sure I don't release lengthy videos going forward so that I don't bore you guys. I'll just go straight to the point, and I'm seriously hoping that you stay tuned. You keep watching till the end. Thank you so much. So, on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about mental health. Okay, a quick disclaimer. For starters, I am not a medical personnel. In fact, I'm not even in science line. So just for you to know that I'm not a medical personnel, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a trained psychologist. Note the word trained. I'm not a trained psychologist. I'm not what again? I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just someone who has been there, like the said, been there, done that. I'm just someone with experience, and I'm someone that, because of my personal experience, I pay attention to people's mental health, and I'm quick to let people know that this thing is affecting your mental health, or this thing has to do with your mental health. So just pay attention to it, and of course, take note of it. So, like I said, been there, done that. I've shared in some of my videos about um my mental health challenge. I'm of course still a work in progress, like I always said, because as long as you are in this tabernacle called flesh, as long as you are in the word, you are a work in progress. So you don't know what to expect or what you might encounter even as you journey. So that being said, let me quickly say this. Personally, in recent time, in the past few months, or in like a year or thereabouts, I've had series of challenges or encounters with people that have had a kind of mental breakdown along the line, falling into depression, anxiety, anger, and stuff like that. But because of my past experience and the things that I have experienced in the past, I've been able to kind of identify them and deal with them as the Lord helps me. So, like I said, we are going to be talking about mental health. And since I want to be kind of focusing on a series that had to do with mental health, I've decided that today I will just introduce it, define it. I had to do my research because I realized that I've been kind of talking about mental health a lot to people, and of course in my videos. So I'm just like, why don't you just do some research to have a kind of in-depth knowledge? I've studied educational psychology, so I think that limits me kind of to education and of course dealing with children. But psychology is very wide. Psychology is wide, and if we are going to be talking about mental health, it is important that I get some kind of insight into it. So in the course of my research, I found out that mental health has to do with your psychological, your emotional, and of course your social well-being. When you say you are in a complete or perfect mental state, it has to do with your total, the holistic package of your emotion, your social life, and of course your psychological life. So it's basically your psychological, your emotional, and your social well-being. The way we relate with people, the way we react to things, to people, to things that are happening around us. Matter of fact, if there is any time or the best time to talk about mental health, I believe it is now. In fact, it's not even in the past that I've talked about it now. And because of the way things are going on in the world, in my country, and of course in the world at large, there's no better time to talk about our mental health. I was saying something recently, which of course I've talked about in my video before too. I was telling someone recently, I said sometimes when people react to what is happening in the moment, they are not actually reacting to what is happening at the moment or what you are doing to them at the moment. There is something that is bottled up. There is something deeper than what is happening at the moment. And people tend to, it's whatever now happens in the moment is a kind of trigger. Before you know it, you are like, what did I say? Why are you this angry? What did I say? Did I say more than that? Why are you angry? What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? A lot of time I tell people they are not reacting to what you are doing at the moment. There's something inside, and it might not even have to do with you, but unfortunately there's a transfer of aggression and you are at the receiving end. So it is important that we pay attention to our psychological well-being, our emotional well-being, and of course our social well-being. Mental health has to do with how we think, how we feel, how we act. It has to do with how we handle stress. Well, we don't all handle stress the same way. We do not all process stress the same way. So it has to do with how we handle stress. It has to do with how we relate with other people, how we relate with people around us, and how we make choices, the choices we make. For someone to make the right choice, you must be in the right state of mind. If you are not in the right state of mind, you will keep making erroneous choices. You will keep making questionable choices. You will keep making stressful choices, and you will keep making regrettable choices. So for you to make the right choice, you have to be in the right state of mind. Your mental health has to be intact, and it has to be in the right state. So it is very, very important that we are mindful of our mental state and that we take care of our mental health. And I'm reminded of the letter of Apostle Paul to the Romans. Okay, I'll quote the Bible. Apostle Paul, in his letter to the Romans chapter 12 verses 1 and 2, he speaks to the renewing of the mind, not renewal. Sometimes people quote and you are saying renewal. I don't know if I've made that error before too, but it's the renewing of the mind. He said be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed by the renewing. Renewing is a continuous word. That sentence there is a continuous tense. You keep renewing your mind. You keep renewing your mind. How do you renew your mind? It is very, very important to pay attention to what you think about. I'm going to be talking in the next video. I'm going to be talking about how to take care of our mental health. But like I said earlier, this is like an introductory video. So it is important that we transform ourselves from inside out by renewing our mind, renewing the way we think, renewing the way we act. We don't just act on impulse. We don't allow whatever we are going through to determine how we act, how we choose, and of course, how we process stress. So that is it for today. Like I said, it is very, very important that each and every one of us pay attention to our mental health. And what do we mean by that? Again, mental health includes our social, our psychological, and of course our emotional well-being. Everything has to be all right. So like in the next video, we'll be talking about how to manage our mental health, or how to take care of our mental health. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. Watch out for the next one. God bless you. Peace out.
He rules in the affairs of man. His name is Yahweh Elohim.